So, but Thierry, welcome, and Don, good to see you. I don't get to actually rub shoulders with you guys like I did last year. It was right. Miss doing that a bit. But great to have you on the show tonight. I know that you all must be very concerned, as just as young people and as young men in the society. Let me see, Don. I'm going to have to kind of turn to look. Okay,
That's all right.
all
That was.
right.
I thought that's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah. But I'm sure you guys must be concerned about what's happening in our country, and really good to have you here to join us in the conversation tonight.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah.
And okay, we have Shaquani coming in. Wow, good evening, Shaquani. How are you doing?
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm doing well.
Great to hear that. For those of you watching, this is a part of the team, if not the most of the team, that went to Washington last year to represent the people of Barbados before the International Commission on Human Rights with regards to the cybercrime bill. This was the team here. I can't remember if there was anybody else. I don't
No, it
think
wasn't
so.
on the team.
Um, huh?
No, it wasn't one of the members. It was
You weren't on?
no,
Yeah.
I didn't.
Oh yeah, right. That's right. That's
It
right.
was
Three of
two
us were on the team. Well, maybe I wanted you to be there so much I saw you when you weren't. So, but so good to have all of you on, and I'm sure each one of you must have something to say with regards to the condition of things in our country at the moment, from your perspective. And we're going to be gentlemen, right, guys? And we're going to let the lady lead off. Is that all right,
Sure.
Shakwani? So, Shakwani, go right ahead and share your thoughts, and we'll be coming back and discussing after each of you has shared your thoughts on how you see the state of affairs in the country at the moment.
Okay, the state of affairs in the country at the moment is absolutely ridiculous. It is horrible, it is harsh, and people are exhausted. Imagine that you're not even safe in your own home anymore. You've not forgotten to lock your doors. You've not left your windows open, but people are coming inside your house. When I saw the video of the door that was cut open by the chainsaw, I was appalled.
Yes.
I could not even
Yes.
imagine because I heard about it before I saw the video, and I said, "That is not in Barbados. That can't be Barbados. That can't be home." And when I saw it, I was like, "I have a wooden door at home. Most Bajans have wooden doors. This could be any one of us." And I feel like the government is not doing enough when it comes to protecting people, protecting the residents here, doing things to stop the crime and the violence in Barbados. It is extremely horrible and it's getting really bad. It's getting out of hand. When we think about how Barbados was before and thinking about it now, it is not the same. When you go outside, if you look outside your house right now, say at 8 o'clock, not that many people are outside anymore. It is not the same safe neighborhood where you will go for where you will exercise or walk on the evening instead of doing it in the morning. Even the early morning workers, you don't see as many of those people on the road anymore due to the fact
Hmm.
that people are getting robbed early morning, in the daytime, at nighttime. There's literally no point in time where you are safe, and you are wondering where did we go wrong and how can we improve from this state. It is
Hmm.
the fear that you do not even know how to address it, because if you worry too much about it, you will never do anything. Yesterday I was at a meeting and within 20 minutes I got a notice saying that there were four different shootings.
Yes, I got that.
Ridiculous. And you went from maybe there was a shooting once a month, maybe every couple of weeks, to almost every single day there's some kind of shooting, there's some kind of robbery, there's some kind of stabbing. And you're wondering when will it be over?
Hmm. Hmm.
What is being done to address all of these issues?
Uh-huh.
And how can I feel safe when every single time people step outside, they leave work, people are being attacked? A nurse was attacked leaving work. Somebody who would save a life regardless of what you have done, you attack that person. So at no point there are no safe people anymore. I
Hmm.
remember in the
Hmm.
past where it was like almost a silent code of who you would attack or who you would rob. It's almost like they don't have anything, no conscience, no feelings. Like this could be your mother, this could be your father.
Yeah, those sentiments are no longer there, huh? Those sentiments are no longer with us.
No.
Well, you know, the thing is that and I don't know how many of you saw it, and Theory, let me make sure I have the name correct because I'm thinking of Taroni. I don't know why I'm thinking of Taroni. Theory, coming at you with this one. You know, we saw a video circulating with, I don't know if you saw it, with the taxi car that was shot up by gunmen. What kind of a message do you think this sends to the average Barbadian? Theory? How does it affect you? How does it impact us as a people?
Mm. Hi, good night, everyone. I didn't get a chance to see the video, but the pictures were circulating. Can you hear me very clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you, and I think Dave is putting some of them up there for us to see, so you might be able to go from that.
I think that the situations in Barbados happening for the last, we say, 4 or 5 months have been a lot of reprisal activities, right? Persons having certain vendettas against others, so they're taking it out on who they have problems with, right? Now, with respect to the taxi incident, I don't know why they shot at the taxi, but it sends a message that you are not safe and we can't get to you, right? No, the problem with it, obviously, that we don't want violence in our country. That's one. But two, imagine if there were children playing, our children during the gap. Well, they shot at the taxi. They could have been hit with the bullets. So there's no cure for the innocent. There's no cure for persons who may not be involved to be, what's the best way to say it, hurt. They just want to attack who they want to attack and go about it how they feel. Like there's no rule of law in these situations. I believe that we have to be deeply concerned and be observant, because even though a person may have another problem with another individual and they choose to go and attack them, you could be innocently
You could be
care.
collateral damage.
You could be collateral damage and
Yeah,
they do not
yeah.
care. I'm gonna use a perfect example. Jonathan Chase.
Yes, actually, he was just running through my mind.
Great. Perfect
Yeah.
example. They shot at whoever they wanted to shoot at, and he was one of the innocent bystanders.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So there's no, as Shaquani said, there's no code anymore. It is do what they feel like doing. So we have to be very careful as the innocent bystanders.
Right.
The personal situation, we will never know. You know, there will be whispers, but
Yeah.
my advice to fellow Barbadians is to keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, and if somebody look funny, run.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
No
Thierry.
problem.
Don, well, I know your dad. Your dad was DPP at one time. I was beginning to wonder at some point if you were going to walk in his shoes and take on that legal role. But I don't know if you got to watch any of the Commissioner of Police's press conference today. I got to watch a bit of it and to see some comments with regards to it. But you know, for you guys, I don't know if this is a video that Dave has here.
You
Maybe
can
we
play it
could play
real
a
quick.
portion
I
of
think
it.
it's
Yeah,
only
if he
2
could
minutes.
play it for us, and we can hear what was said. But what is your reaction, Don? Once we finish listening to it, what's your reaction to what he shared today in his press conference?
Investigations
Go ahead
revealed
and play it first, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to play it.
The chain of events began on Saturday, the 21st of June, 2025, during a social event held at a nightclub in St. Lawrence Gap. A patron, in an effort to bypass mandatory security checks, handed an illegal firearm to a co-host of that event, an individual not subject to search, to keep in his possession. That co-host, in turn, transferred the firearm to another individual. When the patron attempted to retrieve the weapon, he was informed that it had already been handed over to someone else. Enraged by this, the firearm owner, along with others, went to the residence of the event co-host and opened fire on his residence in the early hours of Sunday morning. Subsequently, the firearm owner, supported by a group of friends believed to be members of a gang, initiated a series of retaliatory attacks targeting rival members known to frequent Nelson Street and Cavehill areas. These were deliberate and coordinated acts of violence rooted in gang warfare. The unfolding events of the past 2 days should leave no doubt as to the gravity of the threat we now face. We are dealing with armed gangs warring against each other in public spaces and placing innocent lives at risk. This must strengthen our collective resolve, the collective resolve of all law-abiding citizens to support law enforcement in our national effort to uproot these criminal elements. The Barbados Police Service and the Barbados Defense Force will continue to act in unison to confront and suppress gang activity and all forms of domestic terrorism. We have spoken, we have pleaded with these lawless, violent gangs who have now declared open war on our society. The heinous acts of holding entire communities to ransom cannot be allowed to continue.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean
Yeah.
that was quite chilling. We haven't heard anything like that from any kind of Beijing government official in my lifetime. I definitely never heard anything as gruesome and not that my lifetime is as long as yours, Dr. Ferdinand. I don't know what y'all were talking about back in the day, but in recent times, in the last 2-3 decades, that is definitely not something that the regular Beijing would be used to hearing. And I mean, he hit all the points straight on the head. That was quite an unbiased, very straightforward, to the point address. Like, the situation is extremely dire. He's not trying to sugarcoat it or butter it up or anything. He's saying that we're dealing with gang warfare in the middle of the streets. And then, in addition to that, it's not even just the gang warfare, because there are a huge rise in petty thefts as well. You're having nurses getting stabbed. You're having all kind of people getting. There was a viral video of the elderly man that got robbed. So lots of elderly people are getting their pension checks stolen at the post office. As I said, their nurses getting stabbed just for their handbag, which might have only had in, $100, $200. So at the end of the day, if the people of Barbados are this desperate all the time on a almost an everyday basis now, it's a dreadful situation. Like, we have to live in this society for another 60, 70 years. There are people younger than us in their teenage and even pre-teenage years. And it's just really scary to see what they will have to live in if we don't do something
If we don't
immediately.
do something right now. Yeah.
There are lots of people to blame. Yeah, obviously we can blame the government. They have very weak people in place dealing with these things. I think the Attorney General is very weak. He's a waste of time. He needs to be replaced. And at the end of the day too, the crime prevention, the whole ministry, they started a whole ministry of crime prevention. They gave it a $11 million a year budget. Crime has soared during that time. So I don't know if the goal was prevention or if it was to manifest more crime, because it looked like if they spent the 11 million on manifesting more crime, because that's all that's happened.
But didn't the Attorney General tell us? Didn't the Attorney General tell us? And I'm just checking something here. About 4 years ago, guys, that the administration had a firm grip on crime. You know, I mean, and in listening to the commissioner's comments, he said something that I made a note of. We now face, and I went like, how do you mean we now face? What planet are you living on? You know,
Yeah,
it's like this has only just started to happen like this weekend or maybe this month. We've been facing this for the past 5 years, and it has got increasingly worse over
we've
that period of
we've
time.
broken the record for most murders in a year consistently for the last 3 years now. Like
As a matter
consistent.
of fact, when I look statistically at the number of murders in Barbados, someone actually sent it to me on in virtue of the number of murders per capita compared
It's
to the
really
United
high.
Kingdom's
Hmm.
number of murders per capita. We are 400 times worse than the United Kingdom. I mean this is insane, guys. You know, so tell me something. What do you think? What do you think the Attorney General would be saying now? You know, was he telling us the truth back then, or you know, what do you guys think? Shaquani, what do you think? You know, is he? I am, you know, I'm saying Attorney General, but I'm beginning to spread it out on the government. To be honest with you, um, are they being honest with the people of Barbados? Can their comments and aspects be trusted?
Well, I don't know if he was telling the truth back then. Maybe he was telling his truth or a version of the truth that he believed. But
His
from the average person who is in this every single day, who is experiencing this, I can imagine the persons who are getting robbed or attacked, they don't feel like crime started yesterday. So they're not reflecting what they're saying. What the government's position is that all crime is now picking up or they're now seeing an increase. That is not what we were experiencing. We are accustomed to a safe society where you can run about, where you can be outside without hesitating. Now you're even questioning if you should let your child walk to school alone. Furthermore, if walk at all. So at this mere fact, I don't think that the government is doing enough. They're dropping the ball at every single aspect. There's no way how you create a ministry for something, and when you, after the creation, you see an increase in the area, you see an increase in crime, and then at no point you make any adjustments. You don't switch around people, you don't switch around your program, and then you implement additional programs like the peace program, where you're saying that this is to assist with reducing crime. And based on that factor, we're not seeing a reduction. Furthermore, we've seen an increase. So it's either your methods are not working or you're missing the point. And from
Well,
what, yeah.
no, I was just going to say that I think we have a video, Shaquani, with the Attorney General. I believe we do, and I don't know if it's this one here, Dave, that we can play it, and let's hear what he actually says.
In relation to the crime situation, I'm extremely pleased with the Royal Barbados Police Force. I'm confident that they have a solid grip on it. Yes, the public is justifiably concerned about the recent spike in shootings. These are things that happen in Barbados periodically. But what we need to do is we mustn't panic. We have to stay focused and get to the root causes. The issue of firearms, we've installed new scanning ability at the port. We've heightened our surveillance at the other ports of entry to try to stem the inflow of guns into Barbados. But the fact is that this is a situation where firearms had been coming into Barbados for quite some time. So we have to ferret those out. And the Royal Barbados Police Force has been doing an amazing job in staying on top of the situation. And I'm very confident in their work and in their work ethic. There are still some things to be done. I'm going to be speaking very soon about some new initiatives that we hope to embark on within, and obviously there's some details I won't be able to give. But I think that all in all, we are well served by the force, and they're doing a good job to make sure that our safety and stability persists. In relation to the
Before you go on to the next point, I just wanted you to address reports that the commissioner of police he will be retiring soon, and
Well,
therefore the
I don't know.
replacement.
I don't know why we would say
Can,
reports.
can we can we pause it there for a minute, Dave? You guys, I I don't know why this government does not take responsibility for the state of affairs in the country at the moment. He is exceptionally disingenuous to suggest the guns were coming in for quite some time now. In other words, what I heard him saying was that this issue didn't start with us; it was happening way before we got here. And okay, maybe guns were getting into the country. I don't know. I don't operate in the port. I don't operate in the airport. I'm not a customs officer.
Dr.
But
Ferdinand.
this is where you are now. You are 7 years in government. You cannot look back and blame anybody for where we are now. Coming to you, Shaquani. But here's the thing: wasn't it just last weekend we saw a customs officer arrested for corruption? And someone asked me today, is it any more difficult to pay a customs officer $300 to look the other way, or to pay him $30,000 to look the other way? Because you all know what's the price of them guns. You all know what these guns are worth. So if you're bringing in a container with 4 or 5 or 6 crates of guns in it, which could be valued in excess of $500,000, to pay somebody $30,000 to look the other way, especially in the times in which we live when things are really tough for people. Who's to say that that's not possible? Go ahead, Shakwani. You wanted to say something just now.
Yes, because he said something very important in that video where he stated that they replaced the scanners that was there previously underneath the DLP administration because guns were coming through the port, possibly through that method. And I am here thinking that if that is the statement that those guns were coming in and they replaced these scanners and they're still thinking that this is the method in which guns are coming into the country, I think they need to reach back out to the Democratic Labour Party and find out what scanners they had previously, because the scanners they have now currently installed seem to have more guns possibly coming into the country. Because if you're talking about, he spoke in that video about a one-off incident or a couple one-off incidents, I know we're having 3 and 4 shootings a day. That means that the method that they're utilizing to bring weapons into the country, it is either
something is wrong there.
Is either something is wrong with the new scanners they installed that they said that are better and improved, or they are definitely dropping the ball. And I believe that is a situation where it's both. They're dropping the ball, they don't want to find the guns, or they need to reach back out and find out what scanners were previously installed and reinstall them, because maybe it's faulty.
I pulled this out for a reason, guys. I think you all know what this is, right? Let me see if I can pull off the plastic, because I don't want the lighting. The lighting. I don't even know how to get your silly thing open. Okay, I think I got it. You guys know what this is, right? I'm sure you know what this is, because we've had people who have had their credit cards and so on scanned in airports, and so they manufactured these units that you could put your credit card in. I'm going somewhere with this, huh? You could put your credit card in, and nobody can scan it. Okay, and so what's to say that guys who are importing guns are not having them placed inside of containers that either cannot be scanned, cannot be seen into, or are seen or appear to be carrying something else, where there is maybe another level in the container that is not visible, and customs just lets it go through, and we don't know how intense those screenings are done. I mean, there's so many things left to question with it, Thierry.
Dr. Ferdinand, can we kindly have a serious conversation with the people of Barbados?
Yes, by all means, as young people, that's what they need to hear.
Thank you very much. What you said is potentially it's a scenario that could be done in the ports. That's one. 2, persons can easily break apart the different sections of the gun
Yes,
and
sir.
import them ease one by one until they finally get the full gun. That's two.
Mm-hmm.
And they said let's have a real conversation, a serious conversation, because at the end of the day, we need an overhaul of how we structure things, right? How we do things in this country. We mentioned that we don't have a Republican constitution, but when that occurs, we need to look at what are the powers of the different agencies of government and what will be the future of Barbados. This is my personal opinion. I don't take any offense to DLP or BLP having a different opinion to that. I don't believe that any country in this region currently is doing a good job at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We need an independent body that can come in and have oversight of what's going on. I'm going to put it this way. Just give you a scenario. Yeah, we know we have corruption in customs. But if we have an independent body, we just call it the RSA, Regional Security Agency, which is under the RSS, Regional Security System, that is observing the activities, saying illicit activities occurring. Say some sort of drug lord brings in something, whatever. And they don't have to go through the Prime Minister or necessarily a superintendent. To get approved from the commissioner, go for the person. Because they are the independent body. When you have persons who may, and I'm allegedly, I'm going to use my words extremely carefully, be involved in certain things, right? Then you can't have an outside perspective. A person who has an independent view, or I should really say, can be unbiased in their investigations. I'm not saying that the police are currently biased in the investigation. I'm just saying that they're, I don't want to use the word tone, but their ability to act is limited, given the political gravitas or the political reins that are held upon the Barbados Police Service. So what I am trying to say in the conclusion, this independent body, whenever it occurs, because I firmly believe it is necessary, that can come and do the sort of serious investigations, put together the task force across the different members of the security system, regional security system, and do the job. All right. So that was my serious conversation I wanted to have.
You're talking about something like the FBI?
Yes, sir.
Something like the FBI or Interpol or something like that.
Yes, but for the regional security system.
Yeah, which will work with our regional security system, because obviously they have a level of technology that our region simply does not have, and we got to face that reality. But they would have those aspects that could cooperate and work together with the regional security system to rein in this matter.
Not necessarily the FBI or Interpol. I'm
speaking. Yeah. We're just using them as examples.
Yes, please. Yeah. Our own version of that. Because if we do not have this independent body, I am telling you, for whenever the most I call him the Honorable Don Leacock, Minister of CARICOM, when he gets into power and Shaquani gets into power, I'm gonna be frank, y'all might not like what I have to say, but y'all gonna have the issue too. You're gonna have to face the issue too. But if y'all do not have an independent body, y'all can't accredit or what's the other word I would like to use? Y'all can't vote for all your members in your parliament. Some might be doing whatever they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the future.
Yeah.
So you need a body that can come and say, look, I got you data rates.
That can scrutinize all the persons regardless of their position and engage it, and if necessary arrest. While you were speaking, I checked to see that Barbados is now 23 out of 180 countries. It's at level number 23 in terms of the corruption index, which means that we are the 23rd most corrupt country in the world out of 180 nations, and I think that is telling in terms of where we are at. I think Dave has this video here that we want to run, so that we want to hear this as a tourist, because obviously, as I'm sure you all would know, these matters will inevitably impact us economically. I understand that there is already a travel advisory issued by the United Kingdom. I'm checking on that to confirm it. But sorry?
I might go because my
Ooh,
friend, she's coming
sir.
today.
Sorry, I just heard something in the background there. I understand that there's now been um, travel advisory issued where Barbados is concerned, where the UK is concerned. So obviously, and you know, once it's issued in the UK, we're going now into the European Union.